Behavior and modus operandi. Jacob has a pattern of targeting young women, though in recent weeks, his behavior has escalated, and victims of varying ages and genders have been attacked. His method is to approach his victims in public spaces, often late at night or early in the morning, under the guise of friendliness or offering assistance. He appears calm, charming, and collected initially, which lowers the guard of those he interacts with. His victims have described a gradual shift in his demeanor, from approachable and charismatic to cold, aggressive, and violent once they are isolated. He is particularly adept at convincing individuals to enter secluded areas, vehicles, or buildings. Once isolated, Jacob's assaults turn brutal. He has been linked to multiple sexual assaults and physical attacks, often leaving his victims severely injured. In each case, Jacob has left little evidence behind, complicating efforts to track his movements. He has no known address, vehicle, or clear employment history, making him difficult to locate. What is known is that Jacob is meticulous in his actions, often preying on victims for several days before initiating contact, learning their routines, and waiting for the moment when they are most vulnerable. Timeline of known incidents. Incident number 1, on June 15, 2023, a young woman reported being approached by Jacob in the parking lot of a grocery store near downtown. Jacob offered to help carry her groceries and struck up a casual conversation. He was described as polite and unassuming. However, after walking her to her car, he forced his way into the vehicle and drove to a nearby park, where the assault took place. The victim managed to escape and reported the incident, describing Jacob as cold and calculating. Incident number 2, on July 9, 2023, another victim, a 32-year-old male, was attacked after being approached by Jacob on a jogging path in a suburban area. Jacob struck up a conversation, initially talking about the weather and fitness routines. Once the jogger slowed down, Jacob forcibly dragged him into a nearby wooded area and assaulted him. The victim survived but required hospitalization for multiple injuries. The pattern of Jacob wearing sunglasses even in low light was consistent in this case as well. Incident number 3, on July 27, 2023, a woman in her late 20s was followed by Jacob from a bus stop near the city center. She noticed Jacob sitting on a nearby bench before approaching her under the guise of asking for directions. When she entered a narrow alley to cut through to her apartment, Jacob followed and attacked her. This attack was particularly violent, and Jacob left the victim in a critical condition. She later described his eyes as cold and predatory, noting that he kept his sunglasses on during the attack until they were knocked off during the struggle. Incident number 4, on August 2, 2023, Jacob approached a group of college students at a gas station off the highway. After engaging in casual conversation, he attempted to isolate one of the young women by offering to drive her home, which she declined. Later, as she walked back to her apartment alone, Jacob reappeared and assaulted her near her building. The victim was able to fight him off and escape, but Jacob fled the scene before law enforcement arrived. Behavioral red flags. Jacob's behavior exhibits classic signs of manipulation, narcissism, and a complete lack of empathy. His victims report that his demeanor shifts drastically from being smooth and collected to violent and erratic. Jacob has no visible distinguishing marks, tattoos, or scars that make him easy to identify beyond his constant use of sunglasses and his specific wardrobe choices. He is thought to be mobile and likely uses different methods of transportation to avoid detection. Jacob may also change his appearance slightly between assaults by cutting his hair or growing facial hair. Despite this, the core description remains consistent across cases. Area of concern. Jacob has primarily been active in the following neighborhoods and districts. Downtown area, frequent assaults have occurred near bus stops, train stations, and in parking lots of grocery stores and shopping malls. Suburban zones, Jacob has attacked individuals jogging or walking in quieter residential neighborhoods, often early in the morning or late at night. University district, several incidents have occurred near the university, where Jacob preys on students walking home alone from late-night study sessions or social events. What you can do. The police are asking all citizens to remain vigilant and to be aware of the following. Avoid isolated areas. If you are walking alone late at night or in the early morning, especially near public transit or residential areas, be cautious of strangers approaching you, even if they appear friendly. Do not engage. If a man fitting Jacob's description approaches you and tries to engage in conversation, do not respond. Immediately seek help from nearby bystanders or enter a public space with many people around. Avoid entering secluded areas, vehicles, or unfamiliar buildings. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If you see someone loitering or acting suspiciously, especially if they are wearing sunglasses at night or in low light, report them to the police immediately. Stay connected. Travel in groups whenever possible. Let someone know where you are going and when you expect to arrive. If walking alone, stay in well-lit areas and consider carrying personal safety devices such as whistles or alarms. Call to action. Anyone with information on Jacob's whereabouts or who may have seen a man fitting this description is urged to contact the Metropolitan Police Department immediately at the number below. Even if you believe the information is insignificant, your tip could be critical in preventing another attack. If you encounter Jacob, do not engage. Stay at a safe distance and contact law enforcement right away. Jacob is a predator whose actions have left a trail of trauma and devastation in his wake. The safety of our community is our top priority, and we are dedicating all available resources to apprehend him. Until Jacob is caught, we implore everyone to remain cautious and report any suspicious activity. Thank you for your cooperation and vigilance.